So, to recap, this is Don't Copy That Floppy. We started recording a little bit late, but we have our recorder working now. We just finished up a story about a Kickstarter.
Red Ash, the Indelible Legend, by Keiji Inafune, again.
We're skeptical. Check it out. But we're going to move on to another story now.
Yes.
Sorry, audience.
Sorry about that. You missed it. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Just like our first round of E3 coverage.
Yep. So moving on. Red Ash, by the way, $800,000 goal. It's up to like $360,000 right now with 23 days left.
I assume that it'll make it.
I assume so too. So let's all just hope that Mighty Number 9 is good. And then no one has to feel angry or guilty about this. Let's move on. I want to talk a little bit about this Dishonored story, about Dishonored 2.
You know, I saw this article on Polygon from July 10th, and I didn't present it to you as an article we would talk about because I know you have a distaste for Dishonored.
But I really want to talk about my distaste for Dishonored.
I mean, that's fair.
In the context of this
Because nothing
article
says online talk about video games like bitterness.
Bitterness, disdain, and cynicism.
Salt. Just pour some salt all over it.
So, Dishonored 2, the vision is the same as it was for its predecessor, says Harvey Smith, the creator of Dishonored 2, I guess the director. It's a game about an assassin where you don't have to kill anybody.
That seems strange.
It seems a little strange. Not a bad concept.
No.
It's too bad he totally didn't do that in the first game. If that was their mission statement, they blew it. Because they made a game where, yes, you're an assassin who doesn't have to kill anybody, but they gave you, 500 different cool ways to kill people. And then, punished you for using them. So my immediate concern with this is Dishonored 2 just going to be another game where cool toys are dangled in front of your face, but then you're not able to get the good ending if you use any of them at all? Because that's how the first game was. You kill one person, you can't get the good ending.
Just one? Not even one?
Or there was an achievement for not killing a single person. Even by accident. But if somebody died in a level, the game treated it as you killing them. So if somebody just fell off a cliff because their AI was weird, you couldn't get the achievement for that playthrough. So that was a big problem. Smith also says Dishonored was a mishmash. I agree with that. They wanted to make a first-person interactive game in a fantasy world with some stealth features. So no homage to games they'd made before or that they loved. But halfway through, they were only kind of just figuring out what it was. The game released to critical acclaim because nobody knew what they were talking about. And I'm sorry, I have strong feelings about this game. But he basically says the UI was slapped together at the last minute. I believe it. I 100% believe it. The stealth could have been more reliable, which basically means the stealth could have worked if we had made it work. And the sword fighting could have been a little deeper, so it could have been more than just slapping a dude with a piece of metal. He basically says the good part of the game is the map, world, calendar, religion, and culture that they created, which I don't disagree with.
No, I think it's very unique.
I do too, and I like it, but I feel like the game explored it almost not at all. The most you get out of it is obviously the levels you're in tell you some of it, but the most you get besides that is notes that just say back this year we went into the ocean and fought whales and got their whale oil and that's what powers our world. Also, there's a witch. Look at her. She's an evil and sort of major part of the game, even though you never expected her to be, and it's poorly presented. So, all the good points of this game were just trapped in a quagmire of other weird stuff that either didn't need to be there or wasn't well fleshed out or just... The game felt like kind of a mess, which he actually says here, which I'm surprised. So now he's talking about how with Dishonored 2, they want to expand and develop on all these things. This article is titled, Dishonored 2 is a game about deepening and extending and maybe killing, which is a really weird title for an article. So they want to make the game deeper. They want to expand on all the elements that people did like and that they liked, which is a good thing to hear. It seems like they have a good sense of what is not good about Dishonored, which in my opinion is quite a bit. And they can go from there and fix it.
Yeah,
but
it's actually super encouraging because you usually don't see AAA studios.
So at the end of my long rant against Dishonored here, I got a little bit of a positive thing of like, I'm glad they're acknowledging this, and that means, obviously, if they're acknowledging it, they're taking it to heart when developing Dishonored 2. That's good to hear. My biggest problem here, though, is that the first thing they mention as like, this is the new thing, this is how we've expanded the game. Now there's 2 playable characters, one of whom is designed for finesse, and one is more heavy and brutal. So this is their genius plan. A small, fast character and a big, strong character.
I've never seen that before.
What an original concept.
That's never happened.
What a fantastic job.
But all their content... Do we have a sound bite for this?
I'm sure we do. Dishonored 2! Whale oil powered air horns.
We need to get a slow clap.
We do need to get a slow clap. We need to get like the clap from Citizen Kane or something. When he's super intense clapping at himself. It's great. So, that's Dishonored 2.
That segues really nicely into the Sega story that we have.
It does.
Actually.
Let's take us into this, Lex.
Oh man, Sega made an admission I never thought they would make, and I'm so happy. This is a story that broke on Destructoid on July 7th at 10:45 a.m. This is a little article entitled, Sega Knows It Betrayed Fans, Admits Atlas Taught It How to Be Better. And this is specifically about Sonic, and how Sega's like, okay, we get it. We've been just, like, totally mismanaging Sonic for years. We're so sorry.
This is so amazing.
We're gonna try and make good Sonic games again.
I'm just picturing a person sitting at a table with a copy of Sonic Boom, a cold copy of Sonic Boom, and then Sega comes home. What have you been doing all this time? I played Sonic Boom without you. No, but Atlas taught me to be better, baby!
There's some couples counseling. Atlas was the mediator. But here's a quote. And it's just such a... I just never thought I'd hear them say this. Sega in the 1990s was known for its brand. But after that, we lost trust. And we were left with nothing but reputation. For this reason, we'd like to win back the customer's trust and become a brand once again. That's sorry when you're playing sound bites. I haven't monitored
I forgot we didn't have the splitter. I had to play the fanfare. It's a big deal.
That's Final Fantasy. It's not even Sonic.
But it fits.
That's another soundbite. We need some Sonic soundbites.
We do.
But anyway, yeah, this is just like, it's what everybody's been saying for years, is that they've been making Sonic games and they've just expected them to sell based on the reputation that they made for themselves for Sonic in the 90s. It's just, yeah, the fact that they're recognizing this, saying just exactly what they need to say and being like, we're going to do better.
Now we just need Randy Pitchford to clean the slime out of his mouth and say the same.
That would solve, like,
all of our problems.
All of them. I mean, yeah.
So is Sonic going to co-star in Persona 5?
That's when we'll know that they really did not know what they were talking about. Tell us a little bit about Atlas, the company that has made them see the light, Dan.
What, you don't know about Atlas?
But I do, but maybe our listeners don't.
Atlas makes all sorts of cool Japanese games, like Persona, and, well, the mainline Shin Megami Tensei RPG series, and a bunch of weird stuff that doesn't even come to mind, because it's all over the place. They also publish stuff, aside from what they developed themselves. They published Demon's Souls in the West, actually. Oh. They're the reason that game came over here.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they do a lot of cool stuff. And they bring over lots of Japanese titles that may not otherwise make it. A lot of kind of smaller niche games. So they're a cool company.
Now Sega...
They were acquired by Sega recently.
In 2013. Yeah. And it seems like... It's like, well, they helped Sega understand its situation. And I'm like, So they bought them, and then someone at Atlas just sat down a second. They're like, "Listen,
you guys, Sonic sucks.
you've been doing it wrong. Thanks for hiring me, but I'm going to tell you what you need to do."
Yeah. Well, even after their acquisition, Sega's just kind of let Atlas do its own thing. They haven't even tried to change
Best
Atlas as a
decision they
company.
could have
Really,
made.
it really is. So, look forward to maybe a good Sonic game sometime.
Maybe. Hopefully.
I hope that's what this means. I dream of the day that a Sonic game comes out and everyone's like, this game's amazing. It's so good.
That would be
It's
awesome.
not glitchy at all. There's nobody appearing in T-poses in the background of cutscenes. Like, there's nothing. It's just a game about going fast, and nobody talks. Everybody just goes fast. Tails just shuts up. There's no stupid sidekick. He doesn't turn into a werewolf. Like, there's nothing dumb. Just making a game about a hedgehog that runs fast. Jesus.
That's all you need to do.
They act like it's super difficult. But it's just not. Like, you just make a system where going fast is fun and satisfying. And you just do it.
One of the things I've always been wondering why they haven't tried to get in on, and maybe they will now, is if they just made, like, a 2D Sonic, like, iOS games.
Yeah.
Because those would probably sell really well.
Yeah.
They would, like, translate to the iOS market, like, super well.
I mean, design levels based off of, like, look at, like, F-Zero, or a really fast racing game like that, and design levels based on kind of that concept.
Or just rehire your old designers from the original Sonic games
That's
and have
true,
them
too.
design levels.
Just Sonic 1 and 2 designers. Just come get in here, design a level, just do it.
It was only the 90s. They can't be dead yet.
They can't possibly be. Unless they all just off themselves when they saw this current state of Sonic.
That's pretty likely. I wouldn't disbelieve it.
God. So, good job, Sega, admitting it is the first step. Sonic Makers Anonymous. What's next?
Yeah, what do you
here?
want to talk about next?
We gotta talk about
Oh,
this.
yeah.
We gotta talk about this. I want to bring this up next. So, Minecon happened.
This past weekend.
Yes, on July 4th. Yeah, America!
America.
So, we Americans were celebrating how American we are. In London, they were celebrating Minecraft.
Arguably just as important.
Arguably. So, Telltale Games finally showed a trailer for a little game that you and me were highly skeptical and critical of.
Minecraft Story Mode.
Which, according to this Polygon article from the 4th, looks the same and yet totally different in its debut trailer. I don't really know what to say about this trailer.
This, starring Patton Oswalt, this trailer.
That's honestly the biggest pro of it right now
totally.
for me.
But no, so this trailer plays like a trailer for a Telltale game.
Absolutely.
So there's lots of drama, there's lots of
Yeah.
suspense, there's some hinting at action sequences and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like, whoa, we got a sword.
Looks like a real story, but then it just is in Minecraft graphics.
Yeah.
And I was
admittedly,
watching it.
It looks like a lot of work went into this.
Oh, totally. But I was watching it, and it seemed like a parody to me.
Yeah.
Because it was so dramatic and serious, and yet it was Minecraft.
It kind of gave me a Lego Movie feel.
Well, Lego Movie was great.
And Lego Movie was fantastic. So that's...
But Lego Movie was also extremely self-aware.
Yeah.
And
so I'm wondering how self-aware is this going to be? And it doesn't look much.
No.
Like, doesn't look like they're going for that angle.
Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt's in it. I also thought I heard Brian Posehn in that trailer at one point. So I'm wondering if the whole cast is just comedians. So the story is Jesse, voiced by Patton Oswalt, and his group of friends, and they go off to find the legendary Order of the Stone, a group comprising members who are the greatest at 4 jobs: warrior, redstone engineer, architect, and griefer. The bunch once slew an ender dragon, and they are needed again. Okay. So it's an adventure to find heroes who are better than you. So they'll fix everything.
Well...
I'm sure there will be a twist, though.
Where the real power was in Patton Oswalt the whole time.
And it seems like they're just kind of going with, this is how the Minecraft world looks. We're not going to do a weird explanation or have it be like a more complex setting than that. It's just like, no, this is just Minecraft world. Everything looks this way because there's a pig.
Oh, okay, so this is... I got the voice cast up. So
cool.
We've got Batman Oswald, obviously.
Yep.
Brian Posehn. Yep.
Hey, I heard him.
Ashley Johnson from Last of Us.
Okay.
Scott Porter from Batman Arkham Knight.
Who's he play?
It does not say.
Okay.
Martha Plimpton from The Goonies? I don't remember who she is in Goonies, but now I'm extremely...
Is that like the older sister from the Goonies?
Oh, is the old lady from The Goonies still alive?
I have no idea.
Because I would love if she was in this game. That'd be awesome voice acting.
I have no idea.
Dave Fennoy from The Walking Dead.
Okay.
Corey Feldman, also from The Goonies, and many other things.
Oh my god, the Feldmeister.
Billy West from Futurama. And
Billy West from Futurama and everything else.
Yeah, and best one.
Seriously?
Paul Rubens.
What?
I don't need to explain where Paul Rubens
This is
from.
bizarre cast.
That's a really interesting cast.
Yeah.
I like it.
Sure. I'm wondering how all Minecraft, or not all Minecraft games, all Telltale games are all about, like, make this choice, and you do a thing that the person doesn't like, and then it's like, so-and-so will remember that, and then everybody just ends up angry at you somehow. So I'm wondering how that's going to play into this. Like, what are the choices going to be to make here? Do you want to build your sword out of wood, or you want to build it out of iron? The sword will remember that. I don't know. I am interested to see how it shapes up.
I know who Martha Plimpton was in Goonies.
I'm not a huge fan of Telltale's games, honestly. Like, not playing them, at least. I think they're kind of neat, but I've never felt like I wanted to really play them myself. So I don't think that'll change. But oh yeah, there you go. Martha Plimpton.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see how they end up doing this, and I'm happy to see that they're just doing it in Minecraft graphics, so it's forcing them to kind of get outside of the comfort zone they've fallen into recently. Because all their games kind of look the same.
Yeah.
Because they're all in the same engine, they all have the same character designers, they all make the same faces in every game. Like, everyone in The Walking Dead makes all the same faces as everybody in Game of Thrones. Somebody gets stabbed in Game of Thrones and there's a big old Telltale face of a guy like, ah!
Well, it's interesting because when they were first doing comic stuff, they were really into the cel-shaded look.
Yeah.
And that served them really well for comic books, and then they sort of moved to a sort of more realistic look for the Game of Thrones thing, and it didn't really work for them.
It's got kind of like a painted look to it, like the backgrounds do, but the characters look a bit more realistic.
So I'm glad that they're
forced to make new facial animations and like character motions and stuff like that. It'll feel a little fresher than everything else.
Can I tell a real quick story?
I think Wolf Among Us is their best looking game.
Oh, totally.
By a long shot.
Yeah.
It looks super nice.
And I mean, certain people, they love Walking Dead the most, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I like
Wolf Among Us is pretty good.
But no, I have my quick Telltale game story.
Oh, go for it.
Is I knew this person who was friends with people who worked at Telltale Games, and this was before Game of Thrones came out. This was like when first chapter of Wolf Among Us was coming out. So Telltale Games was like hot shit.
Last year, early last year.
And I was talking to her, and I was like, yeah, I mean, and she was reading, because I work at a comic book store, and she was buying Fables comics. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, did you hear about Wolf Among Us? Telltale Games made it. It's good. It's real good. She was like, yeah, I know a bunch of people who work at Telltale Games. Never played any of their stuff. And I'm like, dude, you could, like, go to your friend's house and just play their games for free. You could get insight into how their games are made. And you just... And you, like the comic books their games are based off of, and you just never thought to do that? At no point did that seem like an idea to you?
Come on, step it up. I have played one Telltale game. I played Jurassic Park the game.
Oh, well, that clearly their best work.
Their best work by far.
They should do Jurassic World the game. Get Chris Pratt.
Oh, man.
That'd actually be kind of
That
amazing.
would be pretty cool, probably, actually. They have a Marvel comic book thing in the works now, too.
Oh.
That's their next thing coming down the pipe.
Oh,
So
I
they
remember hearing
Yeah,
about
they got
that.
the license
Yeah.
for something Marvel-related, so we'll see how that goes. I sure hope it gets to make big telltale faces. Spider-Man won't, though. He can.
Well, when he has his mask
Peter
on,
Parker.
mask on,
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe
I want to
Miles
see
Morales
Venom.
would be
I want to see Venom make a telltale face.
the best.
Venom will remember that.
Alright, let's, what do you want to tackle next? We're at about the halfway point here.
Let's do a little station identification. We'll get into some
after that
flops.
we do a little music.
Yeah,
Um,
let's do that. How about this one?
So, we're back. This is Don't Copy That Floppy on www.chipit.net, streaming live. We stream Fridays, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But if you want to listen to past episodes, or if you are listening to them now, know that our archive is on iTunes and also on chipit.net itself. We have episodes up there, so you can catch up with past ones if you want to check out our coverage.
Halfway through tonight's show. Still got plenty to talk about. If you want to hear what you missed, if you like what you hear from now on, you want to go back, hear what you missed, we're going to have a recording up on an archive on chipbit.net. We also have it up on iTunes. So you'll be able to check that out. You can hear me spit vitriol at the Dishonored developer. All sorts of other fun stuff. But Lex, what are we getting into next?
Oh man, Zambambos.
I know it's something we're both really excited to talk about.
Who wouldn't be excited to talk about Black Ops 3, another AAA shooter that comes out every year?
This is news that I'm actually excited about.
Oh, the Goldblum.
Oh my god. So,
we just found a better article.
We just found
Forget
a much
the article
better
we were
article.
about to talk about.
like almost immediately. Both of these articles, I'm going to go back to the other one, but both of these are on Destructoid, one from the 9th, and one from the 10th.
Mm-hmm.
This one from the 9th was about the announcement of Call of Duty Black Ops 3's Zombies Mode.
It's got a Cthulhu vibe.
Yeah, it's got like an old kind of 1920s, like, gangster kind of look to it. It looks weird, but not like in a bad way. I mean, it's something different. I still don't think it's as good as playing as like Nixon and JFK.
Yeah,
and Castro and stuff. Like that was pretty good. But apparently Jeff Goldblum's going to be in it, so that's enough to get excited about.
Rob Perlman's in it.
Rob Perlman.
Oh my god!
What is this?
Sign me up.
Oh my
Shadows of Evil.
goodness.
That's what it's going to be called.
Shadows of Evil.
Get it. Don't get Black Ops 3.
So,
just get this DLC.
It's apparently going to have a big like film noir narrative to go with it, which is neat. That they're doing more with it than just having it be just like a very basic mode. The game has all these upcoming special editions.
It's got characters such as the Magician, the Femme Fatale, the Cop, and the Boxer.
Yeah.
I really hope that Jeff Goldblum is the Magician.
Oh, we can only pray.
And Rob Perlman's gotta be the Boxer. There's no way
they're not gonna do that.
Or I could see him as a rough and tumble, like, middle-aged detective cop.
Yeah, but I think he's gonna be the Boxer.
Totally.
It's meant to be. Such a big face. He's got a big face, that guy.
Yeah.
It's a big guy. So, I mentioned the special editions. Black Ops 3 is also going to have classic Zombies map remakes, like the Nazi zombies, but only on special editions.
Oh.
I mean, probably at first, because I'm sure they'll release it as paid DLC.
Yeah, they totally will. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot that that's what happens.
So, I mean, if you like the old zombies, I'm sure there's tons of people who, when a new one comes out, they're like, oh, why is it the old zombies? The old zombies is better. And then they rebuy all their old Call of Duty games after selling the new Call of Duty games, and the cycle repeats itself. Guess what? This time you don't have to. You'll just get it.
You can just pay for DLC instead.
They just know that everybody cycles their Call of Duty games in and out of GameStop anyway.
That's the only reason why GameStop is still open. Because
people just constantly recycling their Call of Duty games. And Madden.
And GameStop making that percentage profit on it.
Oh, yeah.
Every time it cycles.
It's great. It's like a big old washing machine. So this is the best Call of Duty move that I've seen in a very long time.
That's
bringing in Jeff Goldblum, Ron Perlman.
Oh my god.
What a fantastic decision.
I can't wait. There's a reveal trailer, which I'm going to watch later.
Yeah, we'll throw this up on... Let's just throw it up on the Facebook or something.
Oh yeah, do it.
Hopefully there's some sound bites in there. And yeah, so that's Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombies, featuring Jeff Goldblum. Life finds a way.
Life finds a way. I think that the tagline for the article was DLC. DLC finds a way.
Yeah, it always does.
An article that I wanted to actually talk about right after the Minecraft one, but I forgot.
Oh yeah, because it is relevant.
Totally relevant to that. In an article published by Polygon on July 8th, we discovered from Dragon Quest's Japanese site that they have a upcoming game for PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what it looks like? Kinda like Minecraft.
A little bit like Minecraft.
Kinda exactly like... The characters don't.
Mm-hmm.
But
the monsters, yeah.
Yeah, but the entire landscape is Minecraft.
It looks...
exactly like
literally like Minecraft. The trees are also not square.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But still. It looks like Minecraft.
So this is Dragon Quest Builders, so we assume that the gameplay will also be very much like Minecraft. And
amazing.
I guess that you're gonna play as... Their details are pretty scarce on it because they just announced it. But I guess it's gonna be an RPG. You're gonna play a character who runs around this Minecraft world of Minecraft, building and fighting monsters.
Yep.
So, like Minecraft.
Yep.
But it'll have Dragon Quest name on it, so they can...
So it'll sell like a bajillion copies.
But not as many as Minecraft, because Minecraft sells better than anything, as we discussed last week.
I've personally never cared much for Dragon Quest. So on the one hand, I'm kind of happy that they're doing something different with it, because in my experience, Dragon Quest has been a very dry, kind of typical JRPG series. And I know it's like very old, so at the time it was more unique, and now I just feel like it hasn't changed anything in a very long time.
Oh, okay. This is the art is done by the dude who did Dragon Ball.
Yeah, Akira Toriyama.
Yeah, I knew there was something about that series. I'm like,
yeah.
I know that.
And it's super huge in Japan, the series, and it still is. So I guess I'm happy they're doing something slightly different with it. This mixes things up a bit. I wish the different thing they were doing wasn't just seemingly copying Minecraft. Because until I see more of this game and have it proven otherwise to me, it really just looks like they're cashing in on the fact that Minecraft is really big right now.
It's so hot right now.
It is. Minecraft's just like Hansel.
Minecraft is... Except it's aged arguably better than a supermodel, because Minecraft came out in 2009, and we're still talking about it.
That's true. So, I mean, time will tell. Maybe this game's going to have more going on than we think. But I'm honestly not holding my breath. It's going to be coming out... Oh, no, they don't have a date. The next Dragon Quest II title, heading stateside, is Square Enix and Omega Force's Dragon Quest Heroes, which hits PS4 October 13th.
Oh, that's another thing to note about this, is we don't know if Dragon Quest Builders will even come out in the US.
Yeah.
And I think to your point that Dragon Quest is way bigger in Japan than it is here,
Mm.
but a Microsoft property like Minecraft is
there are a number of Dragon Quest games that have not come out over here.
Yeah. But yeah, like a Microsoft property probably less big in Japan. So they feel like, oh, people will buy this, but we can capitalize on the Japanese market for this kind of thing with our reputation in Japan. So if it never came to the US, I guess that would make the most sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are we talking about next? We're talking about
No Man's Sky.
oh,
No Man's Sky to talk about.
So good.
Now, I haven't really watched this 18-minute gameplay.
Yeah, we had.
Stuff.
I think it was with IGN or GameSpot. It was one of the big players.
I actually only just found this right before we started recording, so I didn't have time to watch the whole video. But it's a much bigger gameplay demo than what was shown at the E3 stage, obviously.
Yeah. And I think it's part of because I did watch it. It's part of a series that they're doing. So the first 18-minute thing that they showed off was the creators playing. And the next chunk they're going to show are the journalists from IGN. Can you confirm that? I need to figure
it was IGN.
Okay, from IGN playing. Before. So it'll actually be it'll be less controlled. It'll be like, okay, go do what you want
and see what happens.
Yeah.
So every time this game comes up, the big question that always comes up is like, oh, this is really cool, but what do you actually do in it? So I feel like this video, as well as the upcoming video, will kind of answer that question a little bit more. Because the problem is we haven't really seen a big, lengthy hands-on with the game that shows more than just, oh, you can go to this planet and there's some stuff and you can shoot it, or you can examine it, or whatever you want to do. It's really big, but nothing about it is really individually, like, super, super intense or impressive. It's when you get it all put together that it becomes this really big, like, oh, this is a big deal. Because flying around in space, that's one thing.
Yeah, like the micro
walking around on an open world planet, that's another thing. Like the discovery and shooting elements, they're all these little pieces that you feel like would be kind of their own little game, but it's the fact that they're putting it all together into this big, seamless thing.
Yeah.
That's the kind of the big deal, I guess.
So they talked. One of the things they didn't show, but they did talk about, is, or actually they did show a little bit of it, is how you can upgrade your weapon in a bunch of different ways. Actually, they showed a bunch of upgrading weapons and ship stuff, and like how that system works, and how you can upgrade your weapon to be more of a mining tool than like a gun. And with that, you can mine different resources, and then you can like buy and sell those resources, and there are like different space station hubs where you can like do that. Okay. And they talked about how like there's supposed to be a whole sort of market that will be built up within the game. So if you're an EVE Online player, you could get really into this.
Asteroid mining.
But the creator guy was talking about how like, hey, one of the things you can do with this game is you could never actually visit a planet and just go to these space stations and like play the stock market. Yeah. Which to me doesn't actually sound like very much fun, but the fact that you could just do that is interesting, again.
That's cool. The question that immediately comes to mind after hearing that is, what else do you use the money for? Because, like, you can use the money, you just trade back and forth, but why would you want to?
Yeah, well, I mean, we know we have the
weapon
upgrade
upgrades,
system and the ship
upgrades.
So there's definitely that stuff.
I'm still holding out for the ability to build your own little fort on a planet.
I assume that that's going to be in here.
Yeah, like, and I'm wondering how much
like it would be.
Customization will be offered if that's like an option. Like, how much would you be able to change it around?
You might be able to, or options for buying property that already exists with the game.
Yeah.
Like, if you wanted to own one of those space stations, you could purchase it.
Yeah, but with all these planets, these randomly generated planets that you can, discover, and they're just going to stay there and be as they are, you'd think that people would be able to just make their own little base on those. Like, that would be a gameplay feature that would be heavily prioritized.
Yeah.
Because of the whole, like, you found this planet. Oh, isn't it cool? And then it's like, now I'm moving my house here.
You can turn it into your own. You can claim it as your own and build your own empire there.
Like, that's cool. So I'm hoping there's something like that. And I mean, it doesn't have to, for me at least, doesn't have to be more than just basically building a little treehouse for yourself on the planet. Like, I don't care. But I want something like that. And it seems like all these resources that you use to get money can be acquired through either combat or through just exploring and gathering. So you don't have to do the, like, PvP space combat stuff if you don't want to.
No, it doesn't seem that way at all.
Which I like. it's cool to have the option.
They also talked a little bit about the robots in the game.
Sentinels.
Yeah,
as enemies.
they're apparently just self-replicating robots, and they exist on like all the different planets. And their goal...
They're kind of your general enemy.
Yeah, their goal is to sort of preserve the planets however they are before you showed up.
Yeah.
So you trying to mine big amounts of stuff.
The more you screw with the planet,
the more they want to kill you. Yeah, and if you like try and kill wildlife, they'll come after you. That was actually a big part of the demo.
That's how they were introduced.
A goat or something, and then a bunch of the Sentinels just came at him.
And I'm sure in the actual game it won't be like you kill one goat and 5 of these things descend from the heavens to kill you.
Well, it was they described it, or rather, the IGN guys when they were watching it, they were like, "Oh, it's like GTA." So you kill one goat, and a little like drone comes at you, and if you shoot that down, then 3 drones come at you, and if you shoot those down, then a big walker mech comes at you, and then you sort of have that rating that increases, and you can like leave the planet to try and get rid of that.
Yeah, and there are like equipment and upgrade boxes just all over the place, just littering planets everywhere. So there's plenty of incentive to explore. There's an inventory system, so we haven't seen like any menu screens at all, really, but apparently they exist.
Well, we saw a little bit of them when we saw the upgrade thing.
Yeah, you're right. There's apparently some sort of points of interest on planets that have these big things of light coming down, but they weren't explored in the video.
Oh, yeah, I remember them mentioning that. Yep.
Yeah, so there's some very significant things to find on certain planets. And the game is not an MMO, which they've said before, which basically means you can see other players on the surface of planets and like interact with them on a very basic level, but you're not going to be able to fight each other. You're not going to be able to trade with each other that way. It's going to be kind of like Journey, is what he compared it to.
Okay.
Where another player might just kind of, you're wandering along the planet and hey, there's another player. And you kind of hang out together for a little bit or don't, and then go your separate ways. So I'm assuming if you wanted to, you could like cooperate with each other to get to certain places, like fight enemies together and stuff, but it's not going to be any kind of organized cooperation beyond what you decide to do. And I feel like that means there probably won't be voice chat. But maybe there will be. I don't know. That could go either way. I feel like they might just do the Souls game thing and disable voice chat. So it kind of encourages you to just kind of figure it out and find other ways to communicate with each other. Which I think is neat. And Journey didn't have voice chat either. You had to communicate through the little like beeping or like booping noise that your character could make. Which was cool.
But yeah, I'm really hoping at the end of this series, this journalistic series of videos on No Man's Sky, they give us a release window. Because that's really, they really need to give a release window.
And this article does say, so far we've been told, there's an entire universe at our disposal. Of course, if that universe boils down to half a dozen planets that look sort of the same, and various configurations of angry robots, No Man's Sky is unlikely to fulfill its great promise. Which is a good point to make. That we have seen a lot of stuff from this game, but compared to what has been said is in the game, like the scope of it, we haven't seen really how much variety there is in a lot of the planets and stuff.
That they actually brought that up in the video because they were on another planet that seemed like the planets that we had seen in the other demos.
Yeah, like the yellow grass, red trees planet.
And the IGN guys were like, so are there like lava planets or like the planets that are radically different from this kind of planet? And the guy was like, well, yeah, there's like planets that are environmental, like don't have atmospheres and stuff like that. Yeah. And the idea is you're always wearing a spacesuit, so you can upgrade that in certain ways.
Okay.
To be able to deal with more kinds of environmental conditions.
Right.
But that was a far cry from actually showing us those other planets.
Right. I will say the screenshots accompanying this article all show us pretty different looking planets. There's 4 here. One is like this yellow kind of plains looking thing with weird floppy trees and some building ruins. One is this kind of hilly, green, temperate-looking place with these big, weird blocks all over it.
Mhm.
One is like some highlands with big spires of rock and kind of foggy, misty environment. It shows us that red trees, yellow grass planet that we've seen like a million times. So those all look different enough that there's like variety here.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, like, to what extent is that going to continue? How much variety will we really get when all is said and done? Because, yeah, there could be tons and tons and tons of planets, but if there's only, like, 10 archetypes for each planet, you're going to run out of stuff to see pretty fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of makes me think of Mass Effect 1, where, like, you could land on all these different planets, and all of them were just, like, a square map of hills.
Yep.
With, like, nothing.
Some of them had, like, a colony base on
it. A base with some angry guys who would shoot at you.
Yeah.
And you just run them over with your car.
That was it.
That's a good example of, like, what to compare it to when we're, like, thinking of a worst-case scenario here.
Now, we're running a little on time.
I don't think we need to talk about this article.
But that stuff,
This stuff we should talk about. And if we have a little time, I do want to talk about this.
That GIF, that great GIF.
So why don't you take us into this one, Lex?
Alright, so in an article that was published in Forbes on July 9th, we have news about Lizard Squad.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
We've
reported on Lizard Squad in the past. For those who do not recall, they cause a lot of,
DDoS.
Distributed
denial of service.
For things like Xbox Live and Sony Online Entertainment, specifically
They've taken down the
Christmas.
PSN and Xbox Live.
And they also have been responsible for some other, a lot of swatting stuff, something we've also talked about. And in this particular case, or rather,
and
this deals with
they grounded an airplane.
Yeah, grounding an airplane because of a bomb threat.
On Sony, then president of Sony Online Entertainment, John Smedley.
So they've done a lot of jerky things, and one of them was caught. A 17-year-old Finnish hacker named Julius Kivimaki, which makes me think he's Japanese because Kivimaki. I don't know.
I don't have V's in Japan.
Oh, that's true.
That letter doesn't exist.
That letter doesn't exist. It can't be. But his
Get your
his
V's
handle
and L's out of here.
His handle is Zkill, which sounds like a hacker handle.
Sure does.
Like, come on, dude, you could be a little more creative.
XX Sephiroth Sniper XX.
So he was brought to trial.
Yep.
And
on 50,700 charges
of computer-related crimes.
Oh my god,
man,
that's a buttload.
And apparently, according to this article, he has more trials pending for the other stuff, like the stuff with apparently like the plane and the swatting things is separate. So, also, I think he did some identity theft stuff. He released people's public information, including Smedley's, I believe.
Yeah.
So he had all these charges, and the Finnish courts decided that he should serve no jail time.
A 2-year suspended sentence.
Yeah.
No jail time.
Which is, wow, that's light. Oh my god.
I'm not familiar with Finnish juvenile court.
Yeah, now that's the thing. In general, European courts are way more lenient than US ones.
Well, especially with juvenile cases, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So there's that.
So that's,
But with something so overwhelmingly, like, he's done so much stuff. It's like, I think it's just with the volume of crimes that he's committed, it seems absurd to me that they're just letting it go.
And, and it's,
and, like, grounding a plane with a bomb threat is not a minor crime.
No, and that's why I'm pretty sure that this trial didn't really encompass that.
Right.
It mostly was this, like, shutting down gaming services.
Right.
And right now, another point this article makes is that a lot of our digital crime laws aren't really as up to date as they should be because a lot of this technology is very new. At least relatively.
Yeah.
So, cases like this are actually probably going to pave the way for new laws to be written that are stricter and more sort of specific to online crime.
Yeah.
This article actually also has a picture of him, which is hilarious. He just looks like such a tool. Yeah, it's so the idea of shutting down online gaming services really not that much of a crime, at least not right now.
I guess not.
And not in Finland. So even though he's done that a million times, 50,000 times.
Admittedly, the only thing about like the PSN and Xbox Live hacking that really bothers me is the potential identity theft.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I kind of have to agree, like, so what?
Yeah, it's down for a day.
Oh no, I can't play Call of Duty today.
For the players, not that big a deal. For Sony and Microsoft, I understand it's a big deal because they lose a lot of money.
They lose a lot of revenue for even just one day of it being down, that's for sure. Especially when they have to kind of make reparations to people for it.
But yeah, to us in the U.S., man, this ruling just seems crazy.
Yeah.
Because if he was a U.S. citizen, oh my god, he'd be like life in prison.
He'd be done. he'd be freaking done.
But
Smedley
yeah.
went on Twitter and sent off like all these really angry tweets.
So that's the second part to this.
Yeah.
So yesterday. I gotta load that. No, today. Yes. Well, I guess yesterday it happened. Today's being reported on.
Yes.
Smedley made a bunch of tweets about this ruling and how upset he was.
Yeah.
Understandably so, because he has had stuff like...
Well, he's been directly affected by this.
Yeah, I mean, his plane was grounded. We talked about that.
He's had his identity stolen.
And he's had his, like, all of his information posted online. He's been swatted. What was the other thing? I think there's... Oh, all of his finances were posted online.
Yeah.
Like, not cool. Like, really life-ruining stuff.
So, for somebody who's had all this stuff happen to him, I don't blame him for being as mad as he is about this ruling.
And he is...
At all.
Yeah.
Especially for someone who's been directly affected by something this guy did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame him.
So,
he can get as angry as he wants.
Oh, one thing I should specify on is a lot of the courts believe that Z-Killer was connected with the plane stuff and the swatting stuff, but he may not have been directly responsible, but there's actually a good chance he was.
So that's why we're getting
sure
a separate trial for that stuff.
So Smedley went to Twitter and he posted a lot of stuff. He was very upset. Yeah. He basically made threats against Z-Killer, saying, like, listen, I'm going to pursue legal action against you. Like,
against your parents.
Yeah, against your parents. Like, I'm lawyering up. I'm contacting authorities. I'm coming for you.
Yeah, if nothing else happens with this. But Kivimaki himself supposedly still has 15 other criminal cases awaiting persecution in Finland. So he's got a big day on his table.
Now, the other thing that happened was, because as we know, Lizard Squad is more than one person.
Yeah.
And Smedley posted all these threats on
and
Twitter.
Lizard Squad people started, like, threatening him back and being like, blah, 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 blah.
So more of his stuff got posted online, and Daybreak Games, which he is currently the head of, who deal with H1Z1.
Yep.
And what was the other game? I'm blanking on it.
I just looked at it. I can't remember.
Planet
Side 2.
Yeah, so both games that have strong online components were brought down by Lizard Squad in retaliation for this.
Yeah.
And they claimed credit for it immediately.
Of course.
I mean, I don't think there would have been any doubt that it was them. So, then Smedley apologized, not to Lizard Squad, but to the fans, being like, hey, this is happening because I said this stuff, and now your game's being taken down because of that, and I apologize to the fans for that.
Yeah.
Not so many words, but basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Which was cool of him, and I'm interested to see what happens with Z-Killer in the future, because
these Lizard Squad guys are so edgy. I can't stand it. Lizard Squad members justified the attack, saying, chaos is entertainment.
Oh my god.
They then tipped their fedoras, swept their duster coats along the floor, and pulled out their katanas. Like, oh my god. These people suck.
They do. There was actually a thing where one of them was arrested in the UK. He was also under 18, and he had faced some more serious...
I said it before, I think. I'm willing to bet that the vast majority of these Blizzard Squad members are high school students.
Oh, probably.
The vast majority.
Yeah.
They're high school students who think that they're super cool.
Well, one of the things is that the U.S., like the FBI, I said this when we had the bomb threat for the plane.
Yeah. That
the FBI was going to be real upset about this and come after these people, and the FBI has been silent on a lot of the stuff for the plane thing.
Yeah.
So I would find it very hard to believe that they do not have some sort of extradition documents that they've filed with Finland.
Yeah.
And I would also find it very hard to believe that they are not currently working on a case against this guy for things like the plane and the swatting.
I would be pretty surprised if they weren't as well.
But
the FBI is not the type to publicize that stuff most of the time.
No, that's usually not their thing.
Yeah.
So I'm still willing to bet that there's
more coming.
There's a hammer coming for Lily Keller. Because America, we're pretty harsh with our legal stuff.
They sure is. For better or worse.
For better or worse.
In this case, though, I feel like it's probably not a bad thing. I mean, if they are mostly high school kids, on the one hand, for a majority of them, I would guess that they probably don't need to face much. But for the more serious stuff, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Like whoever's implicated in the bomb threat and things like that.
Talk about this real quick.
Let's talk about this real quick.
So a story broke. I don't think it broke on GameZone, but that was the earliest article I could find on it. I'm pretty sure it was just on Twitter that this got posted.
Yeah.
But on July 9th, or maybe the 8th, we had a posting on Twitter from a guy whose name I don't remember. But he posted a screenshot of a Superman. A Superman.
A certain Superman.
A certain Clark Kent.
Yes.
In just sort of like a menu type screen for a video game. And a lot of people were very
quick. My Superman video game?
Yeah, a lot. And then other people were like, this is clearly Photoshopped. And then he posted a GIF
of that screen with Superman standing there like looking around,
moving, which pretty much means like, oh, this is probably real, or if it's a really
very
nice,
elaborate hoax.
Yeah.
And the screen's of course all blurry in the GIF, but like whatever.
Yeah, it's So we have found people have been looking into it, and they have discovered that
there's a few more pictures that have been posted too.
Oh yes,
concept artwork of Superman and Brainiac.
So there's a studio,
Warner Brothers Montreal,
that made the Batman Arkham Origins game, the Arkham game that we don't talk about.
Great.
They made that, and they have been working on a new game. They had a job posting for it that involved a tag saying like an open world action adventure game, which could mean anything really.
Yeah, but with this coming up,
or around the same time, people think it's connected. This is still very much a rumor mill kind of stuff, but
an open world Superman game, and it would be coming out alongside Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
If they put some destructive...
Do you bleed? You will.
If they put some destructible terrain in this, but then actually put game incentives to avoid collateral damage, unlike in the Superman movies, that would be really interesting.
Well, I can tell you what I'm hoping for this game. I mean, Superman is super strong, so obviously they need to change that in some way so the game's challenging. So what I'm thinking is that the villain can create some sort of kryptonite fog that will fill the game world. And Superman will have a hard time seeing through it, and so he'll need to fly through rings to lead him to his objectives. It's just a basic idea I'm working with right now.
Yeah.
And, I mean, since obviously his powers will be weakened, maybe have some kind of power-ups littered around the environment that you need to pick up to use his powers for, 60 seconds.
And rather than just flying, it'll be more like gliding.
Kind of gliding around, and I also want them to make sure the camera's really bad.
Oh, burn.
But
sick burn.
So, with that, I think that's been the show this week.
Are there any upcoming games that we can talk about?
I don't think so.
Because I know there was nothing last week.
I looked ahead last week when we were doing that, and I didn't see a whole lot. Let's see. Yeah. Godzilla the game, PS4, PS3.
Is that supposed to be linked in with the movie? Because that's like
sort of.
Because that's like really not
really.
Oh no,
that's
I
classic
guess
Godzilla on the cover. I'm curious about that. I wonder if it'll be any good. God of War 3 remastered. You can play the worst God of War game on your PS4 now.
Got some more Kratos. Kratos.
Roy McElroy, PGA Tour. The golf.
All right.
Yeah, it's really good. Oh my god! Oh, but that's the week after. We can't talk about it yet.
All right.
There's some good stuff coming up though.
Okay. Oh yeah. But anyway, we hope you've enjoyed listening. This has been Don't Copy That Floppy, broadcasting live Fridays from 7 to 8 p.m. on www.chipit.net.
That is correct.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Steam,
YouTube, and iTunes.
Yes,
we Don't Copy That Floppy. All those places,
except Twitter, where we're at DCFTF Podcast, and we have show archives on both iTunes and the Chipit site.
Yes,
so please check those.
And please just check out the site.
It's great. It's good. It's got good music on it.
Go for it.
But we hope you've enjoyed.
Don't Copy That Floppy. So until next week, remember that thing I just said. Don't copy that floppy. Don't copy that floppy.